The protagonist of this story is Daichai, an ordinary office worker. Although he is already 38 years old, this uncle's hobby is immersing himself in the gaming world. Daichai believes that when playing games, even an older man can become a young character and do things that are impossible in real life. Today, he's playing a newly released game, so first he needs to create an account. After some thought, he decides to use the nickname Earth because Daichai means Earth in Japanese, and creates a character that radiates a supporting character aura which suits him well. With his years of gaming experience, Daichai chooses normal skills because other skills, though powerful, have many weaknesses. After completing the setup, he logs into the game for the first time. This game is called One More Free Life Online. Because there is no main quest line, players can hunt monsters from beginning to end, or they can choose to try hard or just enjoy casual conversations and a free, leisurely life. As soon as he arrives, Earth is greeted by a merchant. Looking around, he notices he's the only one using a bow. At that moment, a player wearing golden armor from head to toe bumps into him, mocks Earth as a useless country bumpkin archer, and kicks him. Indeed, bow users in this world are considered trash, but Earth doesn't care and heads straight to the training area. At first, when he first holds the bow, Earth can't hit the target even once, but he quickly recognizes the problem and begins training hard. After 100 arrows, Earth finally manages to hit the target, and by then he has reached level 5. Besides learning archery, Earth also trains in wind magic and a close combat skill called flying kick. After learning these skills, Earth plans to go to the monster field to test them. But there are too many people there, so he heads to the plains to collect herbs instead. Newly picked herbs are in a hidden state and need to be identified, which is very difficult. Earth repeatedly fails and loses herbs because his level isn't high enough. While identifying herbs, Earth discovers that different herbs have different effects. Some can even cause player death if eaten, making him speechless about the game developers. After collecting ingredients and buying necessary tools for making potions, with the herbs he has, Earth successfully creates basic recovery potions and antidotes that can cure weak poisons. Although these potions can be bought cheaply from NPCs, Earth wants to make them himself to improve his skills. Additionally, once a formula is unlocked, potions can be mass-produced, saving time. Later, when the monster field becomes less crowded, Earth decides to hunt monsters. The first monster Earth sees is a white rabbit with a horn on its head. Upon seeing it, he immediately draws his bow but misses. Even if he had hit it, the rabbit wouldn't have been phased and quickly charges toward him. Earth quickly uses his flying kick to send the rabbit flying into the air, then delivers another kick, killing it. The dropped items are a piece of rabbit meat and rabbit skin. Witnessing Earth's performance, two other gamers approach with admiration. A red-haired young man named Zwei can't help laughing because it's his first time seeing a rabbit killed by a kick. He mimics the rabbit's death cry and rolls with laughter. Earth doesn't understand what's wrong with him, and the girl with Zwei, named Millie, apologizes to him. Zwei and Millie ask to be friends with him, saying with an actor like him, they could aim to become the world's top comedians. Since he has no reason to refuse, they form a team together. After Zwei and Millie leave, Earth continues hunting rabbits to improve his skills. This time, Earth uses wind magic to kill rabbits from a distance, then stealth skills to approach them by surprise. Earth never expected that combining difficult-to-use skills like archery with stealth would be so effective. Perhaps this will be his development path in the future. Because he has to go to work tomorrow, Daichai temporarily logs off to sleep. The next day, as soon as he enters the game, Earth immediately eats a piece of bread to stave off hunger. It tastes terrible. Even though it's a game, the taste function still exists. Earth decides to cook at home. His first rabbit steak is too tough, so for the next piece, he prepares it more carefully, adding herbs to make the meat softer and tastier. But his dish only scores 5 points from the system. Not satisfied with this result, Earth tries various cooking methods. The aroma spreads throughout the neighborhood, and soon people are lining up asking him for a taste. Although Earth charges 20 times more than NPC bread, everyone wants to buy it, and they form long lines waiting for him. After serving hundreds of people, Earth's cooking level reaches 20, unlocking the speed cooking skill. Now Earth needs to craft a new bow to replace his existing one. Thanks to meticulous crafting, the bow he creates has much higher damage than beginner equipment. After finishing the bow, Earth runs to the market to buy some equipment. He has spent almost all the money from selling rabbit meat on a new outfit. so he needs to make some recovery potions to sell for money. Earth possesses the 1000-mile eye skill that allows him to see monsters from afar. After determining the location of monsters, he activates stealth and quickly approaches. With the power of his newly crafted bow, Earth easily defeats a wolf with one shot, and he uses his other skills to eliminate all the monsters. After the hunting trip, Earth is very satisfied with his harvest. At this point, the game unexpectedly releases a patch that makes recovery potions scarce. Seeing the neighborhood become chaotic, Earth calls Zwei and learns that NPCs have run out of potions. Zwei tells Earth to prepare himself because everyone will come to him since only Earth knows how to make potions. While worried about the volume of orders, Millie and Zwei arrive and say they'll handle sales so Earth can focus on making potions. After a while, Earth reports that he's out of herbs and only has a few potions left. At this moment, the player in golden armor from before approaches and aggressively demands that Earth hand over all his remaining potions. Earth says he promised to sell these potions to the people waiting in line, but the player refuses and even punches Zwei, making Earth very angry. Not only Earth, but the crowd outside is also very angry with this player. Earth advises him not to use violence, or he'll become everyone's enemy. The golden armored player becomes furious and challenges Earth to a duel. Although people there advise him not to confront the player because he's very strong, Earth can't ignore such an arrogant player. Right after that, they are teleported to the PvP area, where the golden armored player still looks down on Earth. But as soon as the opponent swings his sword, Earth quickly dodges to the side and delivers a flying kick. After exposing his weakness, Earth shoots an arrow at him and wins the battle. The defeated player's minions quickly carry their boss away and flee, while Zwei and Millie, after witnessing Earth's fighting, want to invite him to their guild. After saying goodbye to everyone, Earth leaves the game and goes to rest. While the golden armored player might have quit the game altogether because of this incident, after a few days since the game update, players have realized that NPCs can run out of items to sell and the importance of the potion skill. Earth logs in as usual, and waiting for him are Zwei and his guild members. A white-haired girl named Nora, who specializes in close combat, steps up to introduce herself. Zwei warns Earth not to comment on her being skinny or having a small chest. Next is a tall guy named Ryuji who serves as the tank, and finally a swordsman named Kazumin. After defeating the golden armored player, Earth's reputation has spread everywhere. Everyone is surprised that a chef using a useless weapon like a bow could defeat that bully. Earth remains modest, saying he won because his opponent's skills were poor. After the introductions, Earth realizes that the team's formation is somewhat unbalanced, but they are very confident in their abilities. Today's challenge for the team is a wild bear, a very strong monster that will give the team difficulty. Zwei believes that someone as strong as Earth can easily carry the whole team, and after the fight, they can enjoy Earth's cooked bear meat. Although Earth explains that he has never fought a bear before, no one listens. They arrive at a dark forest where Earth uses his 1000-mile eye skill to discover that the bears are gathering in packs. Suddenly, one bear wanders off, so they decide to lure it to another location to deal with it. Zwei tells Millie to cast protection magic on him, while Earth uses stealth to approach from behind the bear. However, Earth's arrow doesn't faze the bear, which angrily turns and lunges at him. Seeing his teammate in danger, Ryuji quickly runs over and uses his taunt skill to distract the bear. According to Earth's knowledge, monster species have something called hatred, and Ryuji, as a tank, can attract all the monsters' hatred to himself. Taking advantage of this, Earth finds a hiding place and begins to attack. Although Ryuji is losing health, Millie stands behind him, continuously healing him. The other teammates also rush in to attack the bear, but its skin is too tough for their swords to penetrate. Seeing this, Millie switches from healing magic to fire magic to attack, but it's still ineffective. Because the bear is too strong, the team can only try to hold it back. Seeing the difficult situation, Earth is forced to use his 38 years of life experience to think of a solution. He draws his bow and shoots straight at the bear's head, but the arrow doesn't penetrate deep enough, making the bear even more ferocious. If this continues, his teammates will be defeated. Earth then unleashes his trump card, the wind magic skill, and rushes toward the bear. Although this skill can only be used for 10 seconds, it's enough for him to get close and kick the arrow deeper inside. Finally, Millie uses fire magic and successfully defeats the bear. The whole team sighs with relief after defeating this monster. After the exhausting battle, what the team looks forward to is Earth's cooking, so he prepares a meat feast for them, except for Zwei, who has to eat bread. Mayora asks if cooking recipes are expensive, but Earth says they aren't sold on the market. The reason is that recipes take a lot of time and effort to create. Moreover, whether a dish is delicious or not depends on the cook's skill, not just the recipe. Therefore, even if Earth gave them his grilled meat recipe, no one else could make it as well. The team feels very lucky to have invited Earth to join them. After the meal, Nora, Kazumine, and Ryuji also come to Earth and send him friend requests. The next day, Earth enters the forest alone to hunt monsters. Out of curiosity, he goes into Forest Zone 5, which is full of high-level monsters. Earth encounters a hornet and aims his bow, but misses and hits a fire ant instead. This ant species has the skill to call its comrades to attack together. Instead of running away, Earth decides to charge in and use his flying kick. But before he can kick, he's paralyzed by the ant's counter damage and then defeated. Earth is forcibly expelled from the game after being defeated. At this moment, he receives a notification from the publisher announcing a major update, along with the Spirit Ball event. In addition to new skills being added, there will also be spirit companions to assist players. After his defeat by the ants, Earth has spent time learning blacksmithing skills. He wants to create an arrow with great penetration power, enough to pierce through the ant's skin, and a hammer-type arrow with a head made of solid iron. Additionally, Earth adds weapons to his shoes to increase the damage of his flying kick against monsters. The blacksmith passing by doesn't understand what Earth is doing and gives up because it's the first time someone has crafted weapons to enhance a kicking technique. Not stopping there, Earth goes to the equipment vendor to buy some bowstrings, then buys wood to craft a new bow. Earth notices that all current bows have weaknesses. Only hunting bows are easy to use and effective. After a while, Earth realizes he can cross two sticks like this, so he goes to the forge and begins crafting. The blacksmith is quite surprised to see Earth crafting a strange-looking bow, but is happy that Earth has the creative mind of a craftsman. After a tiring day, Earth finally creates an X-shaped bow with very high attack power. He feels regretful having to say goodbye to his old bow. The next day, Earth enters the forest to find ants to test his new bow. As soon as he sees the target, he takes out his hammer-headed arrow and aims. After the ant is stunned, he shoots another arrow and easily defeats it. And so, all day long, the ants in the forest are completely eliminated by Earth. He also collects a lot of loot dropped by the ants. Their outer shells can be used to make light armor. After a few days, the Spirit Ball event is finally updated. Earth wants to form a pact with a wind element spirit, but while performing the ritual, his stone suddenly breaks. Everyone on the team has their own spirit except Earth, who fails. They comfort him, telling him not to worry because the stone is only broken, not completely lost. However, the group notices something strange. Earth has some sort of attraction that makes all the spirits stick to him. Could he be the legendary spirit playboy? Earth was sleeping in a grass field when a spirit flew to him. Lately, spirits had been strangely attracted to Earth. Since his crystal was broken, Earth couldn't form a pact with them. But in exchange, his skills had almost reached max level. Feeling much stronger, Earth decided to try exploring a dungeon for the first time. He felt nostalgic, as it had been a long time since he'd explored caves like this. After walking for a while, he spotted a spider lurking in the darkness. Without hesitation, he drew his bow and shot at it, then used wind magic as well. He thought he could defeat the spider, but it seemed quite tough. Earth planned to use his newly learned high jump skill to attack, but the cave ceiling was too low, and he painfully hit his head. So instead, Earth used a rope to pull the spider closer, and finished it off with the sharp blades attached to his shoes. At that moment, a group of spirits appeared and showed Earth the way. Thanks to his center of gravity stability skill, he could easily cross a narrow rock wall. Upon arrival, Earth was surprised to see many spirits gathered in one place. Curious, he stepped forward and saw a very large stone. Earth curiously lifted the stone and discovered a hidden door. Inside was a chest containing an old ring. Not knowing what it was, he decided to take it as a souvenir. Just then, the game publisher sent a notification about the upcoming Spirit Tournament event. Players could now evolve their spirits and challenge other players. When victorious, their spirits would take on new forms. The top 16 performers in this event would qualify for the elimination round and win attractive prizes. Additionally, many new features had been added. Now players could receive titles based on their playstyle, and those who failed to form packs could participate in PvP to restore their broken crystals, with a high chance of unlocking rare spirits. After hearing about the upcoming event, all players seemed excited. Earth wondered if players would target craftsmen for challenges, but the blacksmith assured him not to worry, saying no fool would mess with craftsmen. He also mentioned that in Nexia Town, players were eager to compete in PvP, while in Fast Town, players preferred to increase their battle count in a more relaxed manner. A few days later, the Spirit Ball event was updated in the game. Earth felt very embarrassed because his title was Spirit Enchanter and it appeared right above his head, drawing attention from all other players. To remove this title, he had to challenge someone to PvP. Fortunately for him, a player named Rona appeared and challenged him. Earth was surprised that Rona knew him. It turned out she was from the Blue Colors Guild. When Earth heard blue colors, he immediately knew it was Zway's guild. When Rona learned that Earth could use the flying kick skill, she really wanted to duel him. Before the match could begin, Rona's spirit bird suddenly perched on Earth, seemingly enjoying being near him. It even declined Rona's duel request on Earth's behalf. Rona was astonished because this bird was usually very afraid of people. It hadn't even shown such thoughts to her. Other players gossiped that Earth's title was definitely genuine, so all day, no one would challenge Earth because their spirits kept refusing. Earth resented the game developers for giving him this strange title. After meeting Earth, Rona's spirit refused to eat anything, so she worriedly asked him to prepare some food for it. Not just Rona's spirit, but many other players' spirits were experiencing the same issue. Earlier, a bald man had complained to Earth that his spirit wouldn't eat bread bought from NPCs. Knowing Earth's exceptional cooking skills, he asked for help, so Earth made a large batch of fried chicken, causing people to line up to buy it. Fortunately, Rona came to help Earth, allowing him to manage the crowd. After finishing sales, Rona invited Earth to visit Nexia Town for sightseeing. A PvP battle was happening there, attracting many players. It was a battle between someone using a bird and someone using a wolf. Earth quickly noticed that the wolf was behaving strangely. The battle began, and the two fighters started attacking each other furiously. But the wolf wouldn't obey its master, leaving him helpless. Seizing the opportunity, the opponent successfully combined with his bird spirit to defeat the wolf user. An investigation revealed that the player had treated his spirit very harshly, so it ignored his commands. Earth had previously seen videos about the fate of those who mistreated their spirits. They would be forced to duel their own spirits, and if they lost, their crystal would be taken, and all spirit-related data would be reset. The wolf user seemed aware of this, so he wasn't foolish enough to continue abusing his spirit. By then, Earth was feeling quite tired, so he said goodbye to Rona and logged out. The next day, the wolf user from yesterday came to find Earth. It turned out that he knew about Earth's Spirit Enchanter title and sought his help, though Earth was very bitter about this title and hoped he wouldn't mention it. After talking, Earth learned that the man had previously watched videos of other players describing how to train spirits like circus animals. He thought that continuously beating spirits to force obedience would work, but now, facing punishment as warned in the videos, he came to Earth for advice. Earth advised him to treat his spirit like a friend, actively engage with it and praise it. Only then could they live harmoniously. The man wanted to apologize to his spirit and hoped Earth could cook something delicious. Earth agreed and prepared crispy fried rabbit that scored 8 points. Holding a piece, the man gently offered it to his wolf. At first, the wolf was very wary, but it couldn't resist the flavor of Earth's cooking. After eating, the wolf became happy again. Earth said goodbye to the man and reminded him to treat his spirit well from now on. At this point, a person named Silver, who had witnessed everything, wanted to speak privately with Earth and invited him to a secluded place. Earth followed the old man to a house in a quiet area. His equipment was top-notch, suggesting he was a top-ranked player. Silver got straight to the point, asking Earth if he had met a player named Glad, warning that Glad specifically targeted people with the Spirit Enchanter title like Earth. Silver explained that Glad used to be on his team, but as he grew stronger, he began looking down on others. However, in this event, Glad failed to form a pact with a spirit and took out his anger on everyone. As team leader, Silver had to expel him. Silver also showed Earth his Light Valkyrie, a beautiful female-shaped spirit. Silver continued that in a recent update, Glad had formed a pact with a dark fox through a restored crystal and would likely show off his power at the final elimination round of the event. He advised Earth to avoid getting involved with Glad. After telling the story, Silver said goodbye and went home, but Earth needed to verify everything rather than just believing one side. The next day, Earth continued hunting in a very secluded place. He used his splitting skill to shoot multiple arrows at once. While the bear couldn't see, Earth quickly used a rope to whip it, then kicked it, defeating it. After killing the bear, Earth collected many items and also upgraded a new skill called Double Strike. Afterward, Earth went to the mine near Nexia town to extract ore. He needed a large amount of iron ore and light metals to craft weapons. While digging enthusiastically, Earth accidentally hit an explosive stone but managed to retrieve it. Its blast radius was so large that one slip could have been fatal. That evening, Earth went to Black's to borrow his forge. Black's was very happy to see him, thinking he was about to create something bizarre again. First, Earth melted the metals to craft new arrowheads and an iron whip. The arrowheads he planned to make were spiral dagger types that could easily drill deep into monster flesh. Working hard until morning, Earth successfully crafted arrows with special effects. The next item he wanted to make was a metal whip, which also required meticulous crafting, so Earth spent another entire day at the forge. When finished, he proudly showed his creation to Black's. Although his hands were still very tired, Earth headed to the processing workshop to refine the explosive stone. The workshop's basement looked like a laboratory. Even if the refining failed, it wouldn't affect others. Earth took out the explosive stone and began researching. Not being a scientist in real life, he found it mentally exhausting. After trying countless formulas, Earth finally created 3 different explosive potions. To test which formula was best, he went to a deserted rocky area. The first vial fizzled upon touching the ground, while the second exploded over a large area, nearly killing Earth. After drinking a recovery potion, Earth tried the final vial. Its explosion matched exactly what he wanted, so he made more using this formula to hunt bears. By using explosives combined with his newly crafted weapons, hunting became very easy. After the hunting trip, Earth unlocked several new skills. The first was Continuous Arrow, allowing Earth to shoot arrows continuously. The next skill was Flight, helping him jump far using wind element power. That afternoon, Earth brought the bear hides he'd collected to the tailor to have a cloak made that could reduce damage taken from behind. Just then, the player's screen displayed a publisher announcement that the Spirit Challenge event had ended. Zway's guild didn't perform well, so none of them made the top 16. The top 2 players in this event were Glad and Silver, so Earth decided to watch them fight. The bustling hall gathered many gamers to watch. Using his 1,000-mile eye skill, Earth discovered that many other girls also had the Spirit Enchanter nickname like him. After the introduction, the first match began. All matches were spectacular as they featured experts with evolved spirits. Earth noticed that when players lost, light dots moved from the defeated spirit to the victorious one. Though he didn't know what this meant, he found it interesting. After many matches, it was finally time for the last battle. The 2 players facing each other in this final were, as expected, Silver and Glad. They decided to use this match to settle all grudges. The battle began, and they quickly attacked each other, with their spirits exchanging techniques beside them. Initially, Silver's Valkyrie seemed to have the advantage, so Glad got hit. Seizing the opportunity, Silver quickly rushed in to use Crescent Slash, but was dodged by Glad. Earth immediately recognized the skill Glad just used as wind magic, similar to the technique he used. While Silver was in the air, Glad used Cross Slash combined with his spirit to quickly defeat Silver and his spirit, claiming victory. At this moment, Glad's Dark Fox spirit evolved to a higher level and became a beautiful girl. However, the spirit showed no desire to stay with Glad. According to this spirit, the event was meant to select the king of the spirit tribe, with the last remaining spirit becoming king. Glad's spirit believed they were just using each other. With this victory, Glad had achieved his goal of revenge against Silver, and she had achieved her goal of becoming the Queen of Spirits. Now that it was over, they should go their separate ways. Hearing this spirit talk, Millie felt she was like a real player rather than the game's artificial intelligence. Of course, Glad disagreed with his spirit leaving. Seeing this, the spirit gave Glad a chance. If he defeated her in a duel, she would acknowledge his strength and accompany him. If he lost, not only would she leave, but he would also have to give her the tournament prize money. The battle began, with the queen using an earthquake skill to hold Glad in place, then using various spells to attack him. He quickly dodged using his flight skill and closed in on the queen. but she simply stepped behind him and gave him an electric shock. Next, the queen summoned more techniques with various combos, while Glad could only stand still and take it because of the huge gap in their abilities. When Glad had only 1 GP left, the queen decided to spare him and left the rest to Silver. As for the queen, she summoned 3 players with the Spirit Enchanter title to reward them. All 3 were players she admired for not using spirits to fight. The reward for the other 2 girls was leveling up their spirits, while Earth's reward was to battle the queen in a match. Earth didn't understand what was happening. The queen explained that since he didn't bring a spirit or participate in this event, she couldn't reward him in the normal way. Therefore, she hoped Earth could enjoy this battle because whether he won or lost, she would transfer some of her power to him as a reward. Of course, if he won, the power received would be greater. As soon as Earth agreed, the Spirit Enchanter title above his head disappeared, and the game publisher considered this the real highlight of this event. Before starting the duel, Earth had to prepare the necessary tools. His opponent was the Spirit Queen with very powerful magic, especially the high explosion technique she had used on Glad, making him vanish. Earth's advantage was that he had seen the queen fight once, and she had never fought against a bow user before. At this rate, Earth would certainly have no chance of winning, so he decided to use unorthodox methods. The battle began, with Earth running far away to keep his distance, then using 7/10 of his power to test the queen's strength. He realized he could counter her wind-cutting technique with his current power. At this point, the queen began attacking, shooting flames toward Earth, forcing him to find ways to dodge. Then Earth shot an arrow through the flames, hitting the queen's shoulder. She realized she had underestimated Earth's abilities. Afterward, the queen quickly used wind magic to rush toward Earth, but this was within his expectations, so he threw a vial of poison gas. Being poisoned prevented the queen from casting spells, and Earth quickly threw a bunch of explosive potions at her. After repeatedly being hit, the queen regretted not limiting the items that could be used earlier. She quickly erected a stone wall around herself to prevent Earth from attacking. Seeing this, Earth calmly used stealth to wait for the opportunity to attack. The queen inside, seeing no movement, decided to lower the wall to launch a surprise attack. But when the wall came down, the queen couldn't see Earth anywhere, and he quickly used chains to bind her, preventing her from casting spells. Now the queen could only stand still and endure the rain of arrows from Earth. A series of techniques like continuous strike and splitting were used by Earth to attack the queen. And after a 12-hit combo, Earth rushed in with a decisive kick, making the queen unable to believe she was so easily defeated. Although he didn't want to stand out, Earth had just won against the Spirit Queen to the cheers of countless people. The queen conceded defeat and kept her promise to grant him power. But first, she asked Earth to give her the Spirit King's ring and the Covenant Crystal. After combining these 2 items, they transformed into a complete ring. The queen pulled Earth close, intending to give him the ring, but she tried to put it on his left ring finger, making Earth a bit panicked. He was sure the queen had some kind of ulterior motive, so he couldn't accept her request, forcing her to use enhancement magic to put the ring on him. This ring, once worn, could not be removed. Moreover, it was the ring of the 87th generation Spirit Queen, carrying great power and authority, and could not be destroyed. After the first event, Earth's battle with the Spirit Queen was posted on the game's official homepage. Players began to view using bows and wind magic differently, causing a surge in the number of players rushing to learn these skills. Earth also became famous. To avoid attention, he secretly went to a desolate place to enjoy the fun in this world. However, what Earth didn't know was that the ring on his hand was an instant teleportation point, allowing the Spirit Queen to teleport to him anytime. Earth gave the queen a knock on the head for always playing around and neglecting her kingdom. After her defeat by Earth, the Fairy Queen now addressed him as her beloved husband. She told him to try the new magic spells that could only be used when wearing the ring. Hearing his wife's suggestion, Earth went into the forest and caught a bear to experiment. As soon as he recited the spell, his mana bar was depleted. A light appeared engulfing the bear and creating a large explosion, petrifying the bear's entire body in an instant. After testing all the new skills, Earth returned to his original spot and began cooking. The food smelled so good that the Fairy Queen tried to sneak a piece, but got another knock on the head from Earth, who forbade touching items meant for sale. The Fairy Queen began complaining that being queen was very restricting. She had to serve the people and carry the whole kingdom on her shoulders. Moreover, the kingdom's food was always sweet, to the point of being boring, yet Earth was being stingy with her over a single piece of food. At that moment, a blue-haired guy named Neither came to cause trouble with Earth. He introduced himself as being from the Bow of Apollo Guild, which operated for the noble purpose of saving oppressed archers. Earth immediately understood his intention to recruit him and flatly refused, then left with the Fairy Queen. As it was getting dark, Earth suggested that the Fairy Queen should return to her kingdom, but she adamantly refused. Only when he bribed her with food did she obediently agree to go back. The next morning, Earth went to the forge to craft new weapons and found many people gathered there. Due to Earth's widespread fame, they wanted to see his weapon-making process. Earth decided to remake all his weapons. First, his bow was upgraded with better materials, greatly increasing its attack power. Next, he replaced his iron shoes with golden material and moved the blades from the sides to the front like claws. After finishing, Earth demonstrated a few kicks, impressing everyone there. Finally, he went to the craftswoman to pick up the bearskin cloak he had ordered earlier. Just then, Earth received a letter from the leader of the Bow of Apollo Guild. He had to meet with Iam to see what this was about. Upon arrival, Iam apologized for Neither's intrusion and for him using Earth's name without permission to recruit players. Iam had also watched Earth's battle with the Fairy Queen and saw him as her hope. She hoped he could be more active to make other players stop looking down on archers. Earth didn't want to get involved with too many people. He just wanted to play the game casually. But his skills had caught the game publisher's attention. The next day, Zwei and Millie came to Earth to discuss the upcoming update. An abnormal effect had been added to the game. When a player's hand took over 25% damage, they would suffer a broken hand effect and couldn't hold weapons. Additionally, dungeon challenges were updated in this version. Dungeons would be randomly formed after each challenge, with many traps and monsters waiting for players. At that moment, the screen displayed a promotional video calling for players, showing Zwei's team's hunting expedition and the battle between Earth and the Fairy Queen. After that, Earth began preparing for exploring the new dungeon. If he only kept dodging, he would face many difficulties later, so using a shield was necessary. Additionally, Earth learned how to combine using a shield and bow simultaneously to kill monsters. After finishing fighting monsters, Earth returned to the forge to create new weapons. This time, Earth wanted to craft a compound bow based on a real-world design. However, first, he had to create a complete shield from ant armor, then design a compound bow attached to the back of the shield to help support combat. After crafting it, Earth tested the new shield and was very satisfied. From now on, he wouldn't have to worry about the broken hand effect anymore. A few days later, the update finally arrived. Like other players, Earth eagerly went to the dungeon to check it out. Many merchants were around selling potion bottles. Just then, a group of players disguised as superheroes started doing silly things. However, according to the movie model, this superhero team should have 6 people. But today the black superhero had a stomachache, so they wanted to invite Earth to join them in conquering the dungeon. Earth thought he couldn't explore deep into the dungeon alone, so he agreed. As soon as they entered the first floor, the red superhero wanted to split up to explore, but Earth stopped him. Using his 1,000-mile eye skill, he discovered there were 15 traps on this floor, including 4 instant death traps. If they wandered around, they would certainly die, so Earth said he would go first to scout. The superhero team followed Earth, feeling lucky to have recruited him. Indeed, he lived up to his reputation as the Fairy Queen's husband. After bypassing the traps, the superhero team said they would take the lead, but their walking style looked no different from crabs. After a while, they encountered a group of skeleton monsters with shields and swords. The 5 superheroes charged forward and quickly defeated all the monsters. Seeing their decent abilities, Earth felt he could stay back and warn them about traps. Finally, they reached the path to the second floor. Having spent too much time on the first floor disarming traps, and with the dungeon limit being only 1 hour, they didn't have much time left. The second floor was quickly conquered by the superhero squad. On the third floor, the monsters waiting for them were evil spirits and skeleton legions. The 5 superheroes fought together with Earth's support, easily clearing out the monsters. After some fighting, they reached the entrance to the 4th floor. 40 minutes had passed, so reaching the final floor was impossible. Earth thought they could at most reach the 5th floor. Entering the 4th floor, Earth sensed a murderous aura. Suddenly, they heard cries for help behind a door. In the name of justice, the red superhero quickly rushed to kick down the door to save the victim. After they all entered, the door suddenly slammed shut. Earth realized this was a type of containment trap. They wouldn't be able to escape until they defeated all the monsters inside. Using his 1,000-mile ice skill, Earth discovered there were no traps here, so they could fight freely. The 5 superheroes began unleashing a series of colorful skills, quickly defeating all the monsters. The reward for this room was a giant chest. The bandaged head superhero was about to open it when Earth stopped him, saying it was a trap. The bandaged guy thought Earth was trying to prevent him from opening the chest to claim it for himself, as payment for saving his life, arguing that with his thief skill, he would have recognized a trap. Earth, seeing the other's stubbornness, said no more. If he wanted to open it, he should wait until everyone else left the room. The 5 superheroes were reluctant to leave the chest, but still followed Earth's advice. The room was actually a double trap, one using monsters to defeat players, and the other appealing to their greed. As soon as they left, the door slammed shut, with only the screams of the bandaged head guy remaining inside. By this time, the dungeon exploration time was up, so they were teleported outside. Outside, the 5 superheroes began to be curious about Earth's skills. Clearly, the other guy also had the thief skill, but couldn't detect the trap. Since it was their first meeting, Earth didn't want to reveal too much, and just gave perfunctory answers, because Earth had greatly helped them conquer the dungeon today. The 5 superheroes wanted to befriend him so they could explore dungeons together next time, since his trap-breaking speed was still quite slow and took a lot of time to get through the floors. Earth went to the forge to create a tool to assist with his thief skill, but the lockpicking tool was too thin and broke at the slightest touch, or if not broken, was too thick. The blacksmith saw this and used his craftsmanship to help Earth process it. Looking at the very sturdy lockpicking tool, Earth was very happy and thanked Blacks. On his way home, the Fairy Queen suddenly appeared, startling Earth. She was there today to give Covenant crystals to new adventurers. Because the work was very tiring, the Fairy Queen wanted Earth to give her a kiss, but he knocked her on the head, saying they weren't married yet so they couldn't do that. After saying goodbye to Earth, the Fairy Queen returned to her kingdom. The next morning, Earth went to gather materials to make many arrows in preparation for the dungeon. Suddenly, the Fairy Queen appeared with a haggard face. It turned out some perverted adventurers had flirted with her, so she had gathered them together, summoned an arena, and beaten them half to death. Although they were beaten badly, they considered it a reward, which exhausted the queen. Hearing this, Earth felt sorry for the Fairy Queen, but she wanted Earth to pat her head and sign the marriage registration papers. Earth was speechless, but to please his wife, he steamed a batch of buns for her to eat. After eating, the Fairy Queen was so happy that she lay on his lap and thanked her beloved husband. Since she had had a hard day, Earth decided to indulge her a little. After crafting new tools, Earth spent the entire day in the dungeon alone to break locks and improve his thief skill. This work was difficult, so he often failed and even died. After many days like this, Earth's thief skill finally reached level 50 and could evolve into a higher level skill, giving him additional rewards when defeating monsters. At this point, Earth received a message from the superhero team inviting him to conquer a dungeon. It turned out that Black Superhero also had a passion for lock breaking and really wanted to meet Earth once. They were on the same wavelength, so they coordinated very well. That day, they just entered the dungeon to break traps, not bothering to fight monsters. After many training sessions with Black Superhero, Earth's success rate for breaking traps had increased significantly. Earth also discovered the behavior patterns of the monsters in this dungeon. They usually moved in packs toward light sources. Therefore, Earth used his 1,000-mile ice skill to move in darkness, avoiding encounters with monsters. This saved him a lot of time and allowed him to progress to deeper floors. Finally, Earth reached the entrance to the 9th floor. With the time limit for each exploration being 1 hour, he had only 5 minutes left. According to the superhero team, on this 9th floor, there was a very dangerous monster called Lick, which could summon smaller monsters, making it very difficult to defeat. So he had to bypass this monster to reach the 10th floor. However, countless traps were placed before the entrance to the 10th floor. If he solved all these traps, there would be no time left, so Earth used his flight skill to jump over them. Although he triggered some traps, Earth didn't stop and successfully reached the 10th floor. When he arrived at the 10th floor, the time counter immediately stopped. Though not understanding what was happening, Earth finally breathed a sigh of relief. Currently, Earth was the first person to reach the 10th floor. While walking down, he heard the voice of a man named Andre who claimed to be an Imperial Knight. Because the stairs were very long, he wanted Earth to hear his story. Previously, Andre and his subordinates had been ordered to investigate the labyrinth, but they all died due to the traps and monsters there. Andre was the only one left, so he continued to the deepest room. However, that room had nothing, not even air, so Andre died and became a skeleton knight guarding the labyrinth. Andre added that he had destroyed that room to prevent other players from suffering the same fate as him. Andre wanted Earth to meet him and defeat him. His mind had been struggling not to turn into a monster. Therefore, if Earth could defeat him, it would be like liberating him to reunite with his comrades. The story ended, the stairs disappeared, and Earth fell straight down. When Earth woke up, Andre was in front of him, but his mind was gone, and he had turned into a monster. Earth shot an arrow at Andre, but since his body was all bones, he felt no pain. Andre's speed was very fast, so Earth almost took a hit. Not only was he fast, but his attacks were also very powerful, so Earth thought it wouldn't be safe to keep blocking like this. So, when Andre let his guard down, Earth threw a fire flask to burn him and then attacked. However, Andre immediately swung his sword, unleashing a wind blade that caused Earth to suffer a broken hand effect, preventing him from holding his bow. At this point, Earth switched to using the compound bow, but it was very difficult to hit him. After struggling for a while, Earth was hit by Andre's shield attack, causing his entire body to be paralyzed and unable to move. Andre calmly approached, intending to finish him off. But when Andre struck, Earth's stun effect had just worn off, so he managed to dodge and deliver a kick straight to his face. At this point, Earth began using his illusion skill to disorient Andre, combined with his iron whip for continuous attacks, giving him no time to rest. Earth held Andre in the flames and began using the ring on his hand, but the casting time was very long, so he had to use his shield to block one of Andre's attacks. Before Andre could deliver his next slash, Earth finished casting his spell. A ball of light appeared, and Earth believed Andre would be defeated, but only some parts of his body turned to stone. Suddenly, a phantom of the Fairy Queen appeared from the ring and began casting a spell, completely petrifying Andre. Earth thanked the Fairy Queen, then ran to pick up his bow, attacking Andre continuously and finishing with 2 explosive potions. At this point, Andre returned to his human form as he was when alive. Andre wanted to use his remaining time to thank Earth for helping him fulfill his wish. His previous battles had been boring, so he didn't expect much from solo players. Before disappearing, Andre gave Earth his knight's sword as a token of gratitude. Right after that, Andre's comrades came to pick him up. He thanked Earth once more and ascended to heaven with his comrades. As soon as Andre disappeared, the publisher sent a notification to all players that the first boss of the event had been defeated. Earth realized that this event had many more bosses waiting for him, and Andre's sword was added to his list of usable weapons. Returning to the forge, Earth had to find a way to restore his weapons. However, the chain was too severely damaged to be repaired, and the bow and shield were also heavily damaged. Nevertheless, Earth was very happy to have brought Andre's knight's sword home. During this time, a new character for the event was revealed. The next day, Zway's team invited Earth to join them in conquering a dungeon. Today, Nora and Kazamine couldn't participate. Earth noticed that only Millie had healing abilities, so he worried that exploring the dungeon with this team would be quite dangerous. However, they said there was still a new healer who hadn't arrived yet. Her name was Alyssa, a person with a strong personality and very rude, coarse speech. But since there was no other healer available, they had to accept her. Just as they finished speaking, Alyssa appeared with a very arrogant demeanor. As soon as Alyssa saw Earth, she mocked him as a weak archer and doubted his abilities. Earth didn't take it to heart and invited Alyssa into the dungeon to prove his capabilities. Earth's lock-breaking skills were excellent, so they soon reached the 5th floor. Zway suggested they rest a bit, but Alyssa said time was limited and demanded everyone continue. However, from this floor on, they had to be careful because there would be many traps and dangerous monsters like lesser liches, which could be immune to physical damage and inflict unfavorable effects limiting movement. Suddenly, Earth received a notification that a large number of monsters were approaching, 12 of them, including 4 lesser liches. Since the monsters had blocked all paths, they could only stand their ground and face them. During this time, Millie would stay back and support with spells, while Alyssa was so frightened by the monsters that she couldn't hear what Zway was saying. As soon as the monsters appeared, Earth shot arrows at them. With his teammates' support, they successfully overcame the first wave of monsters. At this point, the first lesser lick appeared. Ryuji used his taunt skill to draw its attacks, allowing his teammates to attack it. The first lick was defeated, but now Ryuji's hand had turned to stone and couldn't move. The remaining 3 rushed in, frantically attacking them. If Alyssa didn't use a spell to unpetrify Ryuji in time, they would all die, but she was too scared to open her mouth. Meanwhile, Zwei's team was also running out of mana. At this moment, Earth appeared with 3 explosive potions to hold back the monsters. Alyssa finally calmed down and successfully unpetrified Ryuji, allowing him to return to fight alongside everyone. After a difficult battle, they finally cleared all the lesser liches. Seeing Alyssa constantly complaining about Earth's slowness made Zwei angry, and even Millie, seeing the two arguing, became annoyed and demanded they behave properly. Alyssa, realizing she was wrong, proactively apologized to Earth, and of course, he didn't take it to heart and encouraged her. Although they didn't reach the final floor this time, Zwei still thanked Earth for supporting them today. Earth said goodbye to everyone and left, not knowing that a girl had been standing behind him, watching. The next morning, the girl from yesterday came to Earth's house alone to see him. Looking at her kimono, pointed ears, and dragon-like horns, Earth guessed she wasn't a player. She introduced herself as the Fairy Queen's sister and said she came to claim Earth's lips. Hearing this, Earth immediately gave her a knock on the head, just like her sister. Indeed, they were truly siblings. Actually, she came today because her sister told her Earth's cooking was very delicious, so she wanted to try it. However, Earth refused because he planned to go to the equipment shop today, not stay at home. Hearing this, she demanded to follow Earth, taking the opportunity to stroll through the streets. Today, Earth wanted to ask the shop owner to repair his cloak, which had been heavily damaged after many battles. The shop owner advised Earth to create a new cloak, so he left her the skin and fur of wild bears. The shop owner was very pleased and immediately confirmed the order. Since this cloak would use silver metal, the labor cost would be higher than usual. Earth agreed and promised to return in a few days to pick it up. The Fairy Queen's sister was happy that Earth had finished his business, as she would finally get to taste his cooking. Back home, Earth showcased his cooking skills by treating the Fairy Queen's sister to a rabbit steak combined with herbs. She tried a piece, praised it endlessly, then devoured 3 plates and thanked Earth for the meal. Earth asked if she was a spirit, but she refused to answer. For certain reasons, she couldn't reveal her name either. The Queen's sister allowed Earth to call her whatever he liked, so he gave her the nickname Ryu because of her dragon-like horns. Ryu was very happy and promised to return often. Right then, the publisher sent an important notification to players. That evening, Earth went to the forge to discuss the afternoon's announcement with Blacks. According to this announcement, the game would soon allow people to reset their upgrade skills from the beginning. Initially, Earth planned to concentrate on upgrading his attack stats, but when he remembered how his other skills brought joy to those around him, Earth decided to keep everything as it was without changing. After a few days, the armor Earth had commissioned was completed. Thanks to the additional metal, its defense stats had increased considerably. The handicraft shop owner offered to buy back Earth's old armor, but he refused. The armor had been with Earth for a long time, so if he had to part with it, he would feel very regretful. On the way home, Earth met the Fairy Queen along with some other spirits. The Fairy Queen needed to talk to Earth, so she created a barrier separating them from the outside world. The Fairy Queen apologized to Earth because he would never be able to form pacts with spirits. Earth thought he was disliked by the spirits, but on the contrary, 80% of the Spirit Kingdom's population wanted to form a pact with him. Therefore, if any spirit formed a pact with Earth, they would be envied, and the whole kingdom would become chaotic. Although Earth was very surprised to hear this, he understood the Fairy Queen's situation. In return, she would give him equivalent power. The Fairy Queen took Earth's hand and granted him 2 skills created during the era of the previous Spirit King. First was the 7 Lost Stars skill, which allows Earth to shoot 7 consecutive arrows, dealing massive damage to targets. Next was the Sacrifice Bow skill, which, when activated, sacrifices 90% of the player's health and 100% of mana, then allows them to shoot an arrow with devastating power. However, this sacrifice skill is very dangerous, so the Fairy Queen advised Earth to only use it as a last resort. Additionally, the Fairy Queen also revealed that soon, the Spirit Kingdom map would be updated, allowing players to visit. She very much hoped Earth would come to her home to play. Before the spirits left, Earth gave them some gifts, mainly food. He thought to himself that the upcoming trip to the spirit realm would surely be very exciting. The next day, Earth invited his whole team over to treat them to a meal. While cooking the meat, Earth told them about the gaming campaigns on the market. Currently, there were 4 different games on the market using VR headsets. Since these games were competing with each other, each had its own campaign to attract players. For the game they were playing, the publisher would update the Spirit Kingdom in a few days. However, because the food Earth cooked was so delicious, no one paid attention to what he said. Zwei even tried to sneak a piece, earning himself a smack from Earth. To focus on cooking, Earth gave his fan to Nora, instructing her to hit Zwei with all her might if he tried any more silly tricks. Since the number of players would suddenly increase, guilds would actively recruit more members. Nora thought Zwei's team should also recruit more because it would be better if their team was medium-sized. But first, they had to retrain Alyssa, or she would bully the newcomers. Thinking back, Alyssa had once been saved by Earth, so Zwei once again wanted to invite Earth to join his team. But he still refused. For Earth, being free to do what he liked was still the top priority. At that moment, Ruu seemed to have smelled the food and sneaked into Earth's house. She tried to steal a piece of meat but got smacked by Earth. Upon seeing Ruu, everyone wondered who this girl was, suspecting that Earth had grown tired of the Fairy Queen and was cheating with a new girlfriend. Seeing Ryuji and Zwei being ridiculous, Earth shot an arrow at each of them to dispel the misunderstanding. The group whispered among themselves, clearly suspecting something between Earth and the girl, especially since he called her Little Ryu. However, Ryu had heard and said that only Earth had the right to call her that. A few days later, the Spirit Kingdom map was finally updated in the game. Currently, the only way to get there was to walk with the stream of players to the northern fortress. Upon arrival, the guard wanted to check the ring Earth was wearing. Seeing the ring, he recognized Earth as the Queen's honored guest and dispatched a blue bird named Pikasha to welcome him. Pikasha was a bird that only a few spirits were allowed to ride, and seeing Earth riding it made other players wonder who this player was. Climbing onto Pikasha's back, Earth found its feathers very luxurious. Soon after, it flew up and headed straight to the center of the kingdom, where the Queen's castle was located. After half a day of non-stop flying, they finally arrived. The castle gates opened, and inside, the Queen and others were waiting to welcome Earth. Being in the Fairy Queen's castle, Earth seriously performed the rituals, kneeling and bowing to greet Her Majesty the Queen and thanking her for welcoming him. The Queen announced that the kingdom would have a small parade tonight, with Earth as the main character, and she hoped he could enjoy it. Earth sat on Pikasha, walking through the street amid countless cheers from people. Although Earth normally disliked attention, he felt that the atmosphere here today was very joyful. Even though it was just in the game world, not everyone could experience this feeling, so he would fully enjoy this moment. The next morning, Earth went to the palace where the Fairy Queen was staying, wondering if yesterday's welcome ceremony was too extravagant. It turned out that the kingdom was spreading rumors that the Queen wanted to monopolize Earth, so she had to do this to let the people see him for fairness. However, the Fairy Queen thought since she already had the reputation, she might as well actually monopolize Earth, only restraining herself when reminded by her subordinates. Earth also requested that from tomorrow, he would explore the Spirit Kingdom as a simple adventurer. After the audience, Earth walked around the palace corridors and encountered the Fairy Queen. She asked what Earth was planning to do, and he said he was looking for an inn to sleep. The Queen invited him to sleep in her room. Knowing the Fairy Queen had dark intentions, Earth immediately ran away. If he and the Queen did anything together, this kingdom would surely go to war. After leaving the royal city, Earth rode Pikasha to a fortress town in the south, far from Nexia town, so there would be fewer players than elsewhere. Here, there was a tavern where Earth could accept commission quests, and he also rented a room here as a temporary base. Having done quests all day, Earth had to cook to satisfy his hunger. With the available ingredients and his superior cooking skills, he made dishes so delicious that customers downstairs came up hoping he would let them try. So Earth had to play the role of a chef again, cooking for everyone. Earth's life continued peacefully. During the day, he hunted monsters and completed commissions, and in the evening, he returned to the tavern to cook and enjoy drinking happily with everyone. Suddenly one day, the waitress hurriedly came to tell Earth to hide quickly, as a notorious figure was looking for him. This girl was the foolish daughter of the fortress manager. She had heard about a chef with superior skills, so today she came to capture Earth to be her private chef. The tavern owner, to protect Earth, lied that he had urgent business and had gone eastward. Hearing this, the fortress manager's daughter ordered her subordinates to investigate and gather information about adventurers heading east, saying they must capture that chef at all costs. After she left, the tavern owner sighed in relief. She was honest with Earth, admitting that she had been ordered by the fairy queen to pretend not to know and to watch over Earth. As for the girl earlier, she had been spoiled by her father, resulting in such an attitude. Not wanting to cause more trouble for everyone, Earth decided to leave this place, though he felt a bit regretful, as the time spent with everyone had made him very happy. That evening, Earth left the tavern to exit the royal city. Taking advantage of the moon being obscured, he approached the city gate but was stopped by the guards. The two guards had heard about that girl and knew she had done many excessive things. They were currently collecting evidence of her bad behavior to petition the kingdom, so they told Earth to feel free to escape from here. Outside the gate, an elderly spirit was already waiting for him. Because Earth's cooking was very delicious, he decided to help Earth as a token of gratitude. Meanwhile, in the royal city, they had received reports about the fortress manager's daughter's bad behavior toward adventurers, and furthermore, that person was Earth, making the queen extremely angry. The next day, the old spirit named Zeton had taken Earth to another town in the Spirit Kingdom, famous for its artistic activities. Music playing everywhere made Earth feel the liveliness of this place, but he hadn't slept all day yesterday, so he felt very tired. Zeton led him to an inn he frequently visited. After saying goodbye to Zeton, Earth could finally rest. The next day, after logging back into the game, Earth felt strange when his character couldn't move. Earth thought it was a game bug, but when he pulled back the blanket, he found the fairy queen lying there waiting for him. Earth immediately pretended to be asleep but was seen by the fairy queen. He hoped she would let him go, as it would be very easy to cause misunderstandings if others saw them. But the queen pouted and absolutely refused to release him. At that moment, the innkeeper heard noises in the room, thought Earth had awakened, and wanted to invite him for breakfast, only to find the two of them lying in bed. Thinking Earth had brought a girl back, Zeton was also curious and ran in to see. When they realized the girl was Her Majesty the Queen, both were shocked. Even Ryu appeared and showed great jealousy seeing her sister monopolizing Earth. Actually, the fairy queen came to apologize for the trouble earlier. The fortress manager's daughter and her soldiers had been appropriately punished by summoning an arena and mentally torturing them so they wouldn't dare to repeat their offenses. And the queen had also demoted them all to the lowest ranked soldiers. Moreover, Earth was very much loved by the people here, so there would be no question of him hating this kingdom. Therefore, the queen could be completely reassured. Hearing this, the fairy queen was delighted and tried to hug Earth, but was knocked on the head by her sister Ryu, who pulled her ear and dragged her home. Afterward, the queen and Ryu said goodbye to everyone to return to the palace. Seeing Earth acquainted with such famous people made the innkeeper and Zeton very admiring. The innkeeper revealed that in the past, the spirit tribe had warred with other races, so if people knew the dragon tribe's Ryu had come here, this town would be in chaos. Having just woken up to encounter such unpleasant events, though Zeton wished for the kind of unpleasantness where beautiful women pursued him, suddenly a girl entered looking for Zeton. Her daughter had gone missing, so she hoped Zeton could help. Earth invited the girl in to talk. Through their conversation, they learned she was Karen Fenrir. Her daughter would normally wake up early for a morning walk, but today she hadn't returned home for longer than usual, so Karen had worried and gone to look, but couldn't find her daughter anywhere. Karen feared something bad had happened. Afterward, Karen gave Earth and Zeton a photo of Mina, hoping they could help find her daughter with a generous reward. Of course, Earth invited Zeton to accept this commission, saying he would help the old man to repay the favor of carrying him all night before. The two went to ask the gate guards and learned the direction Karen's daughter had gone. They had walked a long way but still hadn't found her. At this point, Earth noticed some monsters approaching around them. Zeton and he easily defeated them with just one hit, but having searched for a long time without finding Karen's daughter, Earth had to expand the map range. He saw signals of a pack of monsters along with another person. Earth quickly climbed onto Zeton and rushed there. Sure enough, the girl ahead was Karen's daughter. Earth gave Zeton a potion, asking him to break through the siege and sprinkle it on Mina, while he would stay behind to provide bow support. With just one charge, Zeton easily knocked away the goblins, then flung the recovery potion at Mina, and together they defeated all the monsters. After clearing the goblins, Mina thanked the two of them for saving her. However, Zeton said she didn't need to be formal, as they were just following her mother's commission. Earth also introduced himself and asked why she didn't transform into a wolf to fight them. Mina replied that while walking, a sweet scent had wafted by, making her head spin. By the time she realized, she had been surrounded by goblins and couldn't transform. Hearing this, Earth gave Mina an antidote potion and told her to drink it. After drinking, Mina immediately regained her ability to transform. Knowing Mina was in danger, Earth told her to climb onto Zeton and go back first, while he would stay to rest a bit. As soon as Zeton left, Earth turned and called out to the remaining person hiding in the grass. Seeing him holding his ground, Earth threw an explosive potion toward the grass, causing him to run out due to the heat. Earth saw this person didn't seem to be a player, so if he let him escape, it would strain the relationship between humans and the spirit tribe. The man tried to use a knife to attack Earth, but Earth dodged backward and gave him a kick, making him fall face first and die instantly. In this world, whether spirit tribe or dragon tribe, both must coexist peacefully. Anyone who causes war would not be forgiven by Earth. When Earth returned to the forest, he found Zeton and Mina still waiting there. They had stayed to wait for Earth to punish the villain before returning home together. Seeing her daughter safe and sound, Karen thanked Earth and Zeton and paid them. However, Earth noticed Mina seemed very interested in Zeton, so he wanted Karen to arrange for the two to become closer. As for Mina, she agreed immediately without refusal, thus fulfilling Zeton's wish to be admired by a beauty. As soon as he returned to his room, Earth used his ring to summon the Fairy Queen. The Queen thought he was going to confess his love, but got a knock on the head from Earth. Earth told the Fairy Queen about Mina's situation. The Queen was also afraid of conflicts between the spirit tribe and humans, so she thanked him for timely intervention. Since she was already in Earth's room, she wanted them to sleep together. But it took a lot of persuasion from Earth before she agreed to leave. The next morning, Earth checked out to return to the human town. At this moment, Zeton also came down. Looking at his expression, Earth knew they had become a couple. He blessed the two of them and began his journey. Earth called his reliable assistant Pakasha and flew straight back to the human town. But not wanting to attract attention, he asked it to land at the city gate. To show his gratitude, Earth made many delicious dishes for Pakasha, which it happily ate before giving him one of its feathers. Earth also said goodbye to Pakasha and went to the forge to maintain his equipment. He also improved his bow with metal to increase its attack power. Earth went to the monster field to test the power of his new bow when he received a notification that the Dungeon Challenge event had ended. They wanted to award those who had made significant contributions with a special tournament only for those who had defeated hidden bosses, with rewards being equipment with very high stats. But Earth didn't want to show off in front of everyone, so he declined. Suddenly, he heard crying from the forest. Approaching, he saw 4 people lying unconscious there, with a baby dragon crying in the middle. Hearing crying coming from the forest, Earth ran over to find a baby dragon crying. Though not knowing what had happened, seeing the 4 dead people around made Earth realize this was no laughing matter. But leaving the dragon here would trouble his conscience, so he picked it up. Seeing it looked hungry, Earth took out a piece of meat for it to eat. Although he felt sorry for it if he took it, he would attract everyone's attention. For now, Earth would set aside that issue and take care of the dragon's hunger first, though he was surprised by how much it could eat. After eating its fill, the dragon fell asleep. Earth used this opportunity to use his ring to summon the Fairy Queen to discuss how to handle this. When she saw the dragon, she was very alarmed, not understanding why a red dragon would appear here. According to the Fairy Queen, the dragon tribe and the dragon race were completely different. Both carried tremendous power within them. But while the dragon race, like Ryu, had successfully controlled their power to live with other races, the dragon tribe chose to abandon controlling their power and cut off all surrounding relationships. Moreover, the red dragon carried a lot of power, considered a symbol of the dragon kingdom. So the kidnapping of this baby red dragon would make the dragon tribe very angry. At this point, the Fairy Queen's subordinate appeared, saying that red dragons were approaching, and urged the queen to return. Seeing the red dragon shocked the subordinate, who thought the queen had foolishly kidnapped a red dragon, causing the queen to explain that Earth had found this dragon. Immediately after, 2 giant red dragons appeared in the sky, flying toward Earth. As soon as they landed, the 2 dragons believed that Earth and the Fairy Queen were the ones who had kidnapped their child. Although the Fairy Queen tried to explain, she was stopped by the dragon. Earth said that the person who kidnapped this dragon was already dead, and he was just taking care of it. After hearing this, the father dragon asked Earth to return his child. If Earth had courage, he would believe his words. Earth didn't hesitate to place the baby dragon on the father dragon's foot. The dragon tribe has the ability to see their children's memories when in contact with them. So the father dragon realized that Earth was truly just taking care of his child and apologized to him. To apologize for this incident, the father dragon hoped Earth could state his wish, and he would fulfill it. Earth hoped that after this incident, the dragon tribe would no longer suspect the spirit kingdom. Additionally, he wanted to keep today's meeting between them a secret because he liked to keep a low profile. The two dragons accepted Earth's wishes and departed. The fairy queen was very grateful that Earth had considered the interests of the spirit kingdom. To thank him, the queen invited Earth to visit her castle, but he said he wanted to find more commissions, so he preferred going to town. The fairy queen called Pikasha to be his companion. Upon arrival, Earth discovered there were no more commissions for him, as many human adventurers had come to accept them. The innkeeper suggested Earth stay and work for her. So that evening, Earth became a waiter, carrying and cleaning dishes for the shop. After a day of hard work, Earth finally received his wages. It was time for him to rest. As for the game publisher, they were quite surprised that a player could make the fairy queen laugh and the dragon race's Ryu jealous. The next morning, Earth lay in the grass field, thinking about his journey in this game. He had made many memories and become prominent to everyone. In real life, his job was very busy, so Earth didn't have time to exercise, and gradually his body became weaker and could no longer move as he wished. But in this world, Earth could freely do things he couldn't do in real life. Thinking about this made Earth emotional and brought tears to his eyes. Earth thought about the friends he had met in this world and promised to always cherish them. Just as he passed through Susanna town, Earth was called by the fairy queen for a meeting. At first, the queen joked that she called Earth out just because she wanted to see him. But actually, she wanted him to help a young man from the dragon tribe. This young man was a blue dragon from the dragon tribe who could control wind. The power of this blue dragon tribe was weaker than other dragon tribes, but much more agile, and they could also transform into human form. He came today because the red dragon Lady Earth had saved the other day had suddenly become a picky eater. If she continued eating only half as much as usual, she wouldn't be able to develop and become as great as other dragons. Not only that, but she also demanded the blue dragon teach her how to transform into a human. Earth mentioned that when he took care of the little dragon lady, she ate a lot. Hearing this, the fairy queen guessed it must be because Earth's cooking was too delicious, so now the little lady had lost interest in other foods. The blue dragon was curious and wanted to taste Earth's cooking. Indeed, after eating, he understood why their little lady was bored with the food in their kingdom. Earth became very angry at unexpectedly becoming an unwilling chef. The blue dragon apologized and hoped Earth could cook a little for him to take back to the little lady. Earth said he was out of ingredients, so the blue dragon immediately ran off to find some. That afternoon, Earth gave the blue dragon a box full of food he had cooked to take back to the little lady. This would likely make the dragon tribe friendlier to the spirit tribe from now on. After finishing his business, Earth was about to return to his inn, but was detained by the fairy queen. She had prepared a bedroom for Earth to rest, but Earth refused, knowing full well that if he slept over, she would sneak in at night. So he said goodbye and quickly ran away. In the dragon tribe, the little lady had eaten all the food Earth had prepared. It seemed she had fallen in love with the taste of his cooking. The surrounding dragons were very surprised, not expecting Earth to have mastered such techniques. For several consecutive days afterward, the blue dragon tried to make food that tasted like Earth's, but failed each time, so he planned to ask the king for permission to learn cooking skills from Earth. Earth had just logged into the game when he found the fairy queen lying and hugging him tightly. He immediately hit her, causing her head to swell, but the queen still wanted to sleep a little more, so Earth had to use rope to tie her up. When Earth went down to the street, he saw people greeting him like a celebrity. Not wanting to attract attention, he quickly slipped away. Suddenly, a man calling himself Amel called out to Earth. Earth recognized that he was also a dragon, and since he didn't know the man's purpose, he lied, saying the man had mistaken him for someone else. Surely the reason for his visit was related to what Earth had done for the little red dragon lady. But Earth had fulfilled his responsibility, so he hoped they wouldn't force him to be a chef anymore. But just as he had gone a short distance, Earth was intercepted by Amel and the fairy queen. It turned out these two had colluded with each other, so Earth had to use his flight skill to escape, wanting to find a temporary inn to log out of the game. The other two had to catch Earth at all costs, but by the time they arrived, he had already successfully entered and locked the room. The next day, Earth logged into the game to find that the Queen had issued a wanted order for him and posted it everywhere. By now, Earth had become very angry. He went to the palace where the Fairy Queen was staying and kicked the door open. Earth expressed his disappointment in the Queen and asked her to remove the ring from his hand. As for the old man named Emel, Earth called him shameless and declared that from now on, he would never cook for the dragon tribe again. If Emel wanted to use force, Earth was ready to fight. At this point, Emel no longer hid his true face and transformed into a dragon. They went out to a grass field and began to declare war. Clearly, the two red dragons from before had promised to keep secret the matter of Earth helping the little lady. Yet now a blue-haired old man appeared, forcing him to serve them. Earth would never accept this imposing mindset of the dragon race. Emel thought it would be very disgraceful to use all his strength at the beginning, so he let Earth attack first. Earth didn't stand on ceremony. He immediately drew his bow and shot at him, but his arrows bounced off as soon as they touched Emel's body. Immediately after, Emel stomped his foot, forcing Earth to jump up to avoid it, but he immediately flew up and punched Earth, making him fall flat on his face. Although Earth subsequently used many different types of arrows, none could penetrate the dragon's scales. He even had to use his shield to block Emel's next attack. Though while it absorbed the damage, the shield shattered. Though recognizing the massive difference in their abilities, Earth had to win this battle at all costs. He used a recovery potion to continue fighting. While Emel was preparing to breathe fire at him, Earth quickly jumped up and threw all his explosive potions into his mouth. Although Emel was hit, Earth was also nearly dead. Suddenly, he remembered the skills the Fairy Queen had taught him earlier. He used 7 lost stars to shoot 7 arrows straight into Emel's body, followed by 7 planets crashing down from the sky, creating an explosion that shook the entire ground. However, no matter how destructive this skill was, Emel was still not defeated. He immediately flew into the sky and used the breath of wind to blow away the entire ground. Fortunately, Earth had used flight and stealth to avoid it. If this continued, he would certainly have no chance of winning, so Earth decided to use the sacrifice bow skill to eliminate Emel. Since his bow would disappear after use, Earth only had one chance. Previously, the Fairy Queen had told Earth that this skill would consume all his vitality. Even Emel warned that if he used this skill, he would certainly die, but Earth didn't care. Earth enhanced all his vitality into the bow and shot a decisive blow, forcing Emel to erect a wind wall to block it. Through Earth's will and determination, the arrow successfully penetrated the wall and made a large hole in Emel's body. Although he had fought his hardest, surprisingly Emel could still get up to continue fighting. So Earth used his last resort, a suicide bomb attack to finish him. As for the game publisher, they couldn't believe that a player could single-handedly defeat such a high-level dragon. Initially, they thought the explosive oil Earth used was too strong and considered reducing its power. But upon reflection, they realized this was due to Earth's will and determination. He accepted sacrificing all his items and even himself, making this victory completely deserved. Although Earth had won this battle, he had exhausted all his vitality and returned to spirit form. At this moment, some dragons from the dragon tribe appeared. Earth thought they were coming to save Emel, but unexpectedly, one dragon approached Earth and applied something to his body. It turned out that the person these dragons wanted to resurrect was Earth, not Emel. They apologized to Earth for the trouble this blue dragon had caused. According to the red dragon, Emel had been behaving very insolently lately. It was he who had threatened the Fairy Queen, causing her to issue the wanted order for Earth. Today, the dragon tribe came to eliminate Emel, but they were very surprised that when they arrived, Earth had already defeated him. Additionally, the tribe leader wanted to reward Earth for the meal he had made for the little lady earlier. The reward was a dragon scale armor, a pile of gold coins, and a mysterious bow. When Earth put on the armor, he found it very light and highly maneuverable. The bow was the only artifact of the spirit tribe that the tribe leader had confronted in the past. After giving the gifts to Earth, the dragons returned home. As for Earth, after the battle, he felt very tired, so he called Pikasha to take him back. Lying on Pikasha's back, Earth felt grateful to be able to use it. Arriving in town, Earth bought another cloak and went to the Fairy Queen's castle. Her subordinates said that after Earth had gotten angry, she had become very chaotic. He hadn't expected things to go so far. Earth called her name and told her that he had heard the story from the Red Dragon. What the Fairy Queen did wasn't wrong, it was just that Earth had gotten a bit angry. But in reality, he didn't hate her at all. While there, Earth wanted her to seal the power of the ring on his hand because he didn't want to attract attention. Hearing this, the Fairy Queen understood and apologized to Earth for causing him trouble all this time. However, Earth didn't blame her but instead thanked her for bringing him so many experiences since coming here. It was also thanks to the Fairy Queen that Earth was able to defeat the Blue Dragon ML. After the ring was sealed, Earth also said goodbye to the Spirit Kingdom and promised to return someday. Though the road ahead was long, Earth would definitely enjoy every moment in this one more free life game.